If you are looking to retire early and the bulk of your assets are in those tax-deferred retirement accounts, then this video is for you. And before we get started, if you want to go through a plan just like the one I'm about to dive into, then click the link in the description, create your free retirement plan, and you can do this for your own situation. But here we have Jeff and Sam. Jeff and Sam today are 58 years old. And we're going to skip right to what they have going on. If we go into their net worth, we can see here that their total portfolio balance is just about $2 million. And most of that is in these 401ks, these tax-deferred accounts. Jeff has an $868,000 portfolio. Sam has a $595,000 portfolio. And then they have this joint taxable account with $515,000 in it. Yeah, they have a property and they still have a mortgage and they have some money in their bank, but we're going to dive right into their retirement analysis and show you some things that they can do to save relative to their tax-adjusted ending assets. And right away, we're going to go into their tax and then go into their tax strategies. And we're going to dive into here and go through what would it look like if Jeff and Sam engaged in Roth conversions relative to their situation. Like we said, the bulk of their assets are in those tax-deferred accounts. And so if we're looking at our tax strategies here, we can see here the different income tax brackets. The light blue is the 10%, green 12%, yellow 22%, and orange 24%. And we go down here, we're going to see that in retirement, we're going to pull from our taxable account first, then our tax deferred account, and then our tax-free account. And right now, we're assuming that we don't do any Roth conversions. But what if we fill up the 10% tax bracket? For Jeff and Sam, what would this mean? And as we can see here, if we did this early on in retirement especially, this would result in $892,000 in tax-adjusted ending assets. And now what if we did this up to the 12% tax bracket? What would this do for Jeff and Sam? And as we can see here, they would have just about $2.5 million more in tax-adjusted ending assets. And so the idea here is, hey, for Jeff and Sam, especially before RMD, most of their assets, again, are in those tax-deferred accounts. They want to retire early at the age of 58. And so what we can see here is between the age of 58 and before they start collecting Social Security, it would make sense for them to engage in these Roth conversions. And we can see here that the first year, up to $100,000 is maybe what they should consider converting. And so on and so forth up until 2028. And so if we go back to the chart here, we can see here that, like we said, this will result in $2.4 to $2.5 million in tax-adjusted ending assets. And so what if we did the 22% tax bracket? What would this do for their situation? And something interesting happens. Sure, we have more in tax-adjusted ending assets, but we have over-converted. We've effectively converted too much, and as a result, we have more, yes, in ending assets, but $1.5 million more versus $2.4 to $2.5 million more. The reason I bring this up and show this to you guys is because sure, Roth conversions could make sense depending on your situation. And clearly for Jeff and Sam, it's something that they should consider. That said, don't just do Roth conversions to do Roth conversions. You need to be strategic about this decision, and you need to make sure that you aren't over converting and filling up that next tax bracket. And so some of you now might be curious, Zach, what does this look like relative to my Medicare premiums? How does this impact those if I'm taking on more income? And so what we could do here is we could do a conversion target, Medicare premium tax bracket, and we can say, hey, convert up to the threshold where we have no IRMAA. And if we refresh this, we scroll up and we can see here that we'll have $2.6 million more in tax-adjusted ending assets. We actually have more in tax-adjusted ending assets than if we just fill up that 12% tax bracket. And so guys, being strategic with your plan, being strategic with how you pull assets from your accounts, doing things like Roth conversions, depending on your situation, can result in significantly more assets, as we see here for Jeff and Sam. But you must plan for it. You must be strategic about it. And I encourage you to create a plan again just like this so you have clarity around what it is that you are trying to do in retirement. Guys, if you want a plan just like this one, click the link in the description, create your free retirement plan, and you will be on your way in no time. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.